Welcome back to the DMGs That Are Wrong YouTube channel. My name is Mike, and like always, we got Gage and Dylan here with us. Before we get into the video, make sure you guys hit the like button, smash the subscribe button, and turn that notification bell on so you're notified anytime we upload a video. Now let's jump right into it. Alright, jumping into the video here. Got the AFC North, doing our preseason predictions here on how we think everything's going to happen by the end of the season, who's going to finish where, who's going to make the playoffs. The playoffs? Insert clip. Boom. But anyways.
That clip's not getting inserted.
We'll see. Getting into the video here.
So,
What?
I think we can all say that this is going to be the easiest division to predict.
Which is the, sarcasm, because I think we all had like completely different top fours, and it wasn't even like remotely close, and then we argued about it for a good 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And this is what we came up with.
First, so that's going to catch me by surprise too.
What?
I said I forgot who's first, so that's going to catch me by surprise.
Yeah, we put this together a while ago, and we just haven't been able to record it.
Stand by my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
whatever I said, I stand by it.
Stand by it.
Well, we'll figure it out here.
Yeah, well, let's see what happens at number 4 here.
Pittsburgh. Yes.
Ooh. Yeah, I think this was just the easiest one to put here. I think we all had Steelers last, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
My main thing is just Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
Not that he's bad, but he's not.
He's bad.
He's not great, and you're going into one of the toughest divisions in football.
Right. That defense, though, is not a joke at all.
Oh,
the
no.
defense is really good.
The defense is fine, but now you have an offense that's going to be led by Kenny Pickett, a rookie, in one of the best defense divisions.
That's true.
I'd say. So
Yeah.
you got Myles Garrett with the Browns. You got Odafe Owe and all those other dudes on the Ravens. And who else? Oh, the Bengals.
Chavo coming up.
Yeah. And then you got Trey Hendrickson, Eli Apple, Jesse Bates, Logan Wilson.
Apple.
The whole Bengals squad with Cam Taylor-Britt now.
Oh, yeah.
Got the whole Bengals squad on there, so.
Axel.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not looking good for old Kenny Two Gloves here.
I think the most exciting thing about the Steelers this year is how many personal fouls that George Pickens is going to get for the Steelers.
He's gonna.
How many sportsmanlike flags? Over, under 8.5.
I'll take the over, because every time he catches it, he's gonna stand in front of him like this, like when he got drafted.
I will say he's probably going to end up being like their best receiver. Period.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
As long as he can catch.
incredible. Yeah, he's a really good wide receiver. I was not happy that they drafted him. I was extremely happy you guys drafted Kenny Pickett, though.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us all how dumb we are, blah, 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 because Kenny Pickett's going to be great. Anyone's better than Big Ben, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. He sucks. And if you're convincing yourself otherwise, then everything you guys have been saying about Baker Mayfield for the last 4 years, take it all back, and then you can put that at your quarterback, because that's the exact thing you're going to get.
So if I'm the Browns, or really anyone else, if I'm the Browns, I'm putting Myles Garrett on the offense's right side and just say, wait for Kenny Pickett to scramble to you and then knock his head off. Because that's really all Kenny Pickett does, is he gets the ball either on a play action or on even just a drop back. He rolls right and looks to see who's open, and he tries to get it to him. So if I'm whatever team, I'm just saying, all right, we're going to attack the right side of that offensive line. We're going to blow up his escape route and make him beat us somewhere else. So that's just my opinion.
The only thing is, like, we were talking like they're going to finish 6-10 or something. They're not. They're going to be a single-digit team. They're either going to be 8-9 or 9-8. They will not lose double-digit games. They will not go on. They will win 8 games, or they will win 9 games. That's it. and they'll finish 4th.
Yeah.
And then we've got 3rd. It's going to be the Baltimore Ravens. Now, this is where the discourse started with all 3 of us. Remember this now. I don't think this is going to happen. I'm sorry. It took Dylan and Mikey think this is where they're going to end up. I think they win the division.
No.
We'll see.
I think they do. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter if you think their team got worse or whatever, blah blah. Like, the Ravens in regular season are incredible. You want to talk about just like normal team and then like how they're going to perform in the playoffs, completely different story. But regular season Ravens are incredible. This is a lot like the AFC West, obviously. Like, we had teams, and you have to put somebody in 3 at 4, and because it's going to happen, right? But any three of these guys can make it to the playoffs. Baltimore, they lost Hollywood Brown. Is that like the only like big loss they had?
They
got
lost
Calais Campbell back.
Hollywood Brown. They lost another corner. They added Marcus Williams, which is a good ad.
And they got Kyle Hamilton.
Tyler Linderbaum, David Ojabo. But even Ojabo's still a wait and see. I wouldn't count him in for this year. But my take on it is Lamar Jackson can only throw to Mark Andrews so much this year. He doesn't have anything else. I mean, what's his face out of Minnesota is pretty good. Rashad Bateman, yeah. I like him a lot. But you have a tight end that, I mean, if you're planning to stop the Ravens, you're planning to stop Lamar Jackson first and Mark Andrews second. So, I mean, it'll be nice to see Lamar Jackson be good, and I kind of hope he proves me wrong because I like seeing people prove the masses wrong. But for me, you have a defense. Yeah, they're good, but they're still getting older, and I don't think they've really replaced their stars from the past with quality guys. Like Patrick Queen, I think isn't as good as a lot of people hoped he was going to be. So I think that they are still going to be good, like Gage said, but I feel like these other 2 teams have explosive offenses. They have defenses that can handle other offenses, and I just feel like they're more complete to compete in this type of NFL that we have. So that's why I gave the edge to the other 2 orange teams.
I disagree. I think the Bengals dropped dramatically from last year. They massively overachieved on multiple parts, and their offensive line got better, but their defense didn't.
Yeah, their defense got better.
Their defense cannot play at the level that they did last year.
But their
We'll
defense,
see. I mean, it still has to be proven. Like, the thing that's crazy about the Bengals is that they added a lot of veterans the previous season, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, who are these guys?" They even have what is it, Trey something, their cornerback that got hurt and wasn't even really a factor last year. Yeah, Trey Waynes. And then they didn't lose anyone. Like, they got a better offensive line, which was their biggest bugaboo of last year. They got definitely better at that. That opens up Joe Mixon a whole lot better. And now you still have those 3 same wide receivers that torched the league last year. And I just don't see how you put that below what the Ravens can do on offense.
and they got good depth at corner.
Now they do,
But
yeah.
We'll talk about that in a second here. We'll talk about it in a second. We'll talk about it in a second. Just hold your horses.
Okay, all right.
We'll talk about it in a second. I'll give my little piece on the Ravens here real quick. The only reason I have them here at 3rd is because they don't have a quarterback. They have 5 running backs on their roster, and 1 quarterback actually in Taylor Huntley or whatever his name is. Tyler Huntley.
He's less of a quarterback then.
Well, he's the only quarterback they have on their. Oh, they also have Trey McSorley. Who am I kidding? So they have 2 quarterbacks on their roster, and Lamar's a bum. Moving on.
Lamar Jackson is not a bum.
I know.
He is not a great traditional quarterback.
He's a running back.
And he's elite when he has his athleticism with it.
He's a running back. Anyways, moving on to number 2 here.
So I had the Browns at number 2 before I knew that Deshaun Watson took everyone to the Dominican Republic or Jamaica or Bahamas or whatever. So I mean, if I knew that beforehand, I would have put them number 1 in the AFC. I think that's going to solve every single issue that the Browns have. But
Yep.
you know,
Hey,
I had the
guys.
Browns. I had the Browns at number 2, only because you have a quarterback that hasn't played in about a year and a half now. He might miss some games this year. That's still kind of due to be determined. So there's too many questions, quarterback, and this is a quarterback league. I do really like their defense. I do really like Amari Cooper and Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt and everything like that. I think they have a lot of really good pieces, but they don't have the run stuffing defensive tackle. So that's
Yet.
yeah yet, but you know that's still something. They could have Jadeveon Clowney come whenever training camp is done, so he doesn't have to do anything in the off season.
And Dominican
Um,
too.
but they do have really good corners. They drafted another really good corner with Martin Emerson, and yeah. So I mean, it's a mixed bag, but I think honestly the Browns, if if it was the Sean Watson that we saw at Houston, no brainer, they're the best team in the AFC North, in my opinion.
Um, so regarding Deshaun Watson, I don't. I know people are going to be upset, but I don't think he's going to get suspended this year.
I
They're
think
going to wait.
he has another whole deal coming before the season even starts, though.
Yeah, well, they push back like majority of
Wow.
the cases to next year, like the hearings,
Yeah.
and they're not going to like punish him or suspend him for that one thing because you can only suspend somebody for a specific act once in the NFL. So they're not going to do that now without having everything in there. So like I would not be surprised if he doesn't get a suspension. And I think Vegas understands that as well because the Browns are currently the number one betting odds for the AFC North, which wouldn't make any sense because there is all those question marks, and you had a team that just went to the Super Bowl, like Dylan was saying, that got better on paper, and that just doesn't make sense. So that's telling me that I don't think he's going to be suspended. Um,
Or they just want to take your money.
why would they? Why would they have?
That would
Hours
be
off?
us taking their money essentially if
Yeah,
it was a bad bet.
like if they wanted to take our money, they would have made them like third and had them at plus 700, and people were like, oh, he's gonna do it. Them having them at plus 150 makes is really covering their own butts, saying, okay, we if Deshaun Watson plays, we think they're winning, and we don't think he's gonna get suspended. I put a lot more stake into betting odds. Vegas knows things before people do.
Well, and one other thing to kind of just preface this too is this is predicting what the final standings of the regular season is going to be, right?
Right.
That's kind of what we've all taken account here. So to me, part of it is say, even if he doesn't get suspended, you still have to fit Stefanski's offense to whatever Deshaun Watson wants to do as well. That's going to take a few games to figure out, in my opinion. And then you also have Amari Cooper, and then after that, the receiving threats are a little bit more scarce and unproven. So that's another thing is their offense I think is still going to be pretty run heavy, especially at the start where they're getting their feet wet with all this new stuff, and then they're going to start adding more of that Deshaun stuff later into the season and kind of keep things fresh that way. If they're smart, that's what I think they would do. So they might have a hotter end of the season, and they might in the power rankings be better than the Bengals. But I think the Bengals have the better regular season.
Um, this is where we disagree. Mikey, not Dylan, really like the Bengals. I see the Bengals for what they are. You guys made it to the Super Bowl. Congratulations. You still the Bungles. I mean, you guys haven't beaten the Browns in like 4 years, which is embarrassing. Not only have you guys not beaten us, you guys get spanked like week in, week out every time.
Well, they don't need to beat the Browns to make it to the Super Bowl, buddy.
Yeah, they do. You have to beat your division.
No, they actually didn't though.
Yeah, they
No, they
did.
didn't this time.
Yeah, exactly. So
Oh. Yeah, it took the
They
Ravens
beat the
having
Chiefs
like
twice.
practice squad corners and guys off the street because they had like 6 injuries. All of their running backs being hurt before the season started. Their offensive line being decimated, and then Lamar Jackson being hurt for half the year. For them
Yeah,
to finish a couple games above them, it took the Steelers having one of the worst years they've had, and the Steelers even made the playoffs. And then it took Baker Mayfield being in a wheelchair, and the Bengals barely won the AFC North. This is not going to happen. The Bengals will
they
not
also,
win the AFC North 2 years in a row. I promise you guys this.
but they beat the Chiefs in
That's
essentially
great. The Chiefs
back-to-back
aren't in the
weeks.
AFC North.
Yeah, but this is a regular season prediction. This isn't saying which is the power ranking best team in
This is
the
where it's going to
AFC
finish
North.
in the AFC North. And guess what? You can play the Chiefs one time in the year, but you play the Browns twice, the Ravens
Yeah,
twice.
what I'm saying
They
is,
played the
yeah,
Chiefs
obviously
twice and they beat them twice.
division is different than your other opponents in the regular season.
Right. I'm not saying the Bengals are a bad team, like they're not a playoff team. I'm saying in the division where it's going to have to end up finishing,
Yeah,
they will not win that division.
and that's where we disagree, obviously. But I look at it as you have an arguably top five, even top three wide receiver in Jamar Chase.
Okay, agreed.
You have a very accurate and a very good quarterback with Joe Burrow.
Great.
He doesn't
Agreed.
make a whole lot of mistakes. So he's the best quarterback in that division until Deshaun Watson proves otherwise, which I think can happen. I'm not saying that Joe Burrow is definitely above Deshaun Watson at this point,
I
but
don't
he's on
disagree
the
with
field
anything you said so far.
and he has the system and everything like that. Then you have a great running back. You have a better
Again,
offensive line. It's still not as good as the
on
Cleveland Browns.
on paper, offensive lines don't just plug and play. They have to mesh.
That's
It's a
true.
whole unit, so you
That's
don't
fair.
know that yet.
That's fair. But on paper, it at least is going to be better. I think
Okay.
the
Which is
general
fair.
consensus is that their offensive line got better.
Which is fair.
Yeah. And then you still have a really good defense. Trey Hendrickson was real. Reeder was real. Hill was real on that defensive line. They have a good defensive line.
Decent
And
defense.
then they have a good defensive line. They
Decent.
really do. And then you have good linebackers. I
Yep.
think they got better at cornerback and they got better at safety.
No,
And
no, they didn't. Jesse Bates isn't playing under the franchise tag. He already said, "I will not show up to practice. I will not
okay,
show up to training
that's a fair point.
camp
That's a fair
unless you guys
point.
pay me. I'm not playing."
That's a fair point. But you do have a chance of putting Daxton Hill back there. I think that's part of the reason why they drafted someone that has experience across the DB positions. But
Also,
granted, he's
probably
still a
why
rookie.
Bates is staying that now because
Yeah,
they did sign or draft
yeah.
him.
But to me, I look at it as you have to stop T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Tyler Boyd, and Joe Mixon on that offense. When I'm looking at the Browns, I'm looking at we got to stop the run first, and then we got to contain Mari Cooper as best as we can, and then after that point, it's just keep the dinks and dunks from Deshaun Watson to a minimum. And then the Ravens, if you can stop Lamar Jackson from running the ball, then he just flounders around. So I feel like there's more easier issues that come up with other teams that you have to stop. Whereas the Bengals, you have a running back, you have a passing game, but you also have a competent enough defense to stop Patrick Mahomes in prime time in the second half and shut him completely down in the fourth quarter two separate times when a lot of stakes are on the line in a game. So to me, a character team like that, I can't put another team that got better on paper too ahead of them.
Okay. So now that we've brought up the Chiefs like 6 times because they're in the AFC
Yes.
North,
I think it's a
obviously.
very good
What is
level.
the one thing the Chiefs cannot do on offense?
Run the ball.
Okay, what can the Browns, the Steelers, and the Ravens all do really well?
The Bengals have a good run D.
No, not against not against the teams in the AFC North. Are you kidding me?
But they
They
won it
get blown
last
out.
year.
Nick Chubb averaged like 120 yards on them. The Ravens ran the crap on them. And the Ravens, the only reason why the Ravens didn't outrun them a little time is because Lamar Jackson's had a couple turnovers and then they got blown out because as soon as you get down as the Ravens, they can't come back really.
Yeah.
And then the Steelers, they had Ben, so that helped out. But now you get I just don't see it. Like honestly, as an AFC North fan that watches all these games, I'm telling you, the Bengals massively, not like just a little bit, massively overachieved. They hit running at the right time. They got hot at the right time, and then they hit the right opponent coming down at the right time. Like they massively overachieved.
Who's to say that they can't keep it going though?
That's just your
Their assumption.
head coach Zach Taylor, who was supposed to be fired, like well in halfway past this season, until they hit that road and like, oh, all of a sudden they caught fire and beat a few teams, and then they made it to the playoffs.
Who's to say they can't keep it
Did
going?
not make that playoffs. They have a new head coach.
That's fine,
I
but
will
who's
not
to
take
say?
4 years of crappy, dumb head coaching against Harbaugh, Kevin Stefanski, and why am I forgetting his name? I love him, but I hate him at the same time.
Mike Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin, thank you. Like, I will not take that. Like, honestly, like, I get it. Like, on paper, we're talking Madden, Bengals have the best team. But, I'm going, like, full organizations, full head coaching, all of that put into there.
I mean,
The
you're
Bengals
just making assumptions. And this is a
That's
team
all
that
we're doing.
I know, but this is the team that just went to the Super Bowl. I agree with everything. This is why this is 2v1, so that's why the Bengals were first. I agree with everything that Dylan says. I mean, if they massively overachieve, that's fine, but who's to say they can't keep it going? And I think they're going to keep it going. They got better.
How often do teams make it back to the Super Bowl the next year? Apart from the tainted thing that we have our memory from Tom Brady and Bill Belichick at the Patriots, it is like an extremely difficult thing to do. It doesn't happen.
I'm not saying they're going to make it back to the Super Bowl. I'm just saying they're.
With Tom Brady, they weren't able to do it. The Chiefs, with their crazy team they've had, they haven't even been able to do it. Like, that doesn't happen. You don't go to the Super Bowl back-to-back years, and especially since the AFC went from having like one of the worst conferences last year, where it was awful, where teams that were under 500 were competing for like multiple wild card spots, and it came down to the last week of the season. Now the AFC got even better, and now that you want the Bengals to go all the way again. I'm sorry, that's not going to happen.
Okay, so
I didn't say they're going all the way to the Super Bowl.
The thing
I just said they're going to finish first.
The thing that's important here is we're not saying that the Bengals are we're not saying the Bengals are an 18-0 team, and we're not saying or a 17-0 team, and we're not saying the Browns are a 0-17 team. We're saying that these top 3 teams are extremely close in their talent levels and what they can hit on their ceilings and on their floors. But what we're saying is you're counting into a whole new quarterback, which in essence is a whole new system on offense.
I should phrase this differently for you guys. I'm not coming at this as a Browns fan. I'm coming at this as somebody that's watched the AFC North. I think the Baltimore Ravens are winning this division, period. That is my guess. I would put money on the Ravens to win this division again.
I get you there, and
that's where I'm going with.
The thing is
I think it's the Browns Ravens, Bengals, Browns.
The thing is there's so many things that can happen to change all this, right? There's injuries, there's Deshaun Watson situation, there's just whatever the Bengals have done. But what I'm saying is, if we're chalking this up and we're making our best predictions right now, is you have Bengals who haven't done anything but improve their team. The Cleveland Browns added a very polarizing quarterback with a new system and lost their best wide receivers and replaced them with a different wide receiver. I don't know what your face is. I don't know why you're looking like that.
The Bengals have done nothing but improved, and then we're going to go change the narrative like Stephen A. Smith. The Browns, they got a polarizing QB. Like, are you telling me the Browns have not improved in every single way? Throw away what Deshaun Watson has done or hasn't done or whatever. I don't even care. You got a quarterback that's top 5 in the NFL, period. Like, no arguments there. He's a top quarterback. We got a receiver, our best receivers. Are you kidding me? Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr., who didn't even get 1,000 yards together last year, that couldn't stay on the field all year. People that drop balls.
Let me formulate this better. Let me formulate this better.
That's gotten like 1,500 yards the last 3 years as a wide receiver, okay?
Let me formulate this better for you. The Bengals, they didn't get worse, right? Can we agree with that?
On paper, I agree with that.
Perfect. Okay,
That's
sweet.
fine.
So the situation is you have a new quarterback with a new system with a better wide receiver in Amari Cooper, but your bottom end wide receivers are worse than last year, in my opinion.
They're the same ones.
Well, you don't have Jarvis Landry, you don't have Odell Beckham.
Jarvis Landry
You're
didn't
now
play.
counting on Donovan Peoples-Jones and
Donovan Peoples-Jones is our wide receiver 3 basically, and he was our wide receiver 1 over last year.
okay. So, but My biggest point with the Browns. My biggest point with the Browns is you have a new system. On your record, that takes at least 1 or 2 wins, in my opinion, away from the Browns.
We play the Panthers, Jets, Steelers, Falcons for the first 4 weeks of the season.
Okay. If you can't score, then you lose them. I'm just saying, you have a hiccup that the Bengals don't have. You have a new quarterback. You have Stefanski, who has struggled to create a good offense yet. And now you're going to add in Deshaun Watson that wants to do things differently than Kevin Stefanski, right?
This is like okay.
Like it's a different situation.
Was his entire rookie year. Okay, so then like this season, Joe Burrow has to learn a new system basically because they got new weapons on the offense. And Zach Taylor, he's never created a good offense in the NFL because Zach Taylor sucks dick as a head coach. Let's be real, the guy sucks. The fact that he has a job is shocking. Thank goodness Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase pulled his bum ass to the Super Bowl to keep him his job and pay for his family's food for the next 5 years because that's what just happened. Okay, if it wasn't for the cheapest owner in the NFL,
that the Cincinnati Bengals have a steady offense from last year to this year, and the Cleveland Browns have a different offense from last year to this year. That's my biggest point. Is you have a change.
And I'm just saying, like, it changes every year in the AFC North. It's such a volatile division because we had the same offense from the year prior to this last year, and it went from top offense to oh my gosh, this is anemic. Like I can't even see them completing a pass in a
that couldn't do anything.
Right, and Joe Burrow's injury prone. So how do we know he won't get injured?
We don't.
I don't know. That dude took a lot of sacks last year. Was still fine.
Like that. But to me.
I'm just saying, like, it's going to be the Ravens. I promise you guys. Put the money on the Ravens. If you guys are watching this video,
that's fine.
I hate them with a passion.
Okay.
You want to make money? They have like the third odds. Put the money on the Ravens.
Hold on. Back to your point here. You literally said that the Browns were favored, right?
On like the sports books, yeah.
Yeah. So Vegas obviously knows something, and you said that. That's why I said that the Vegas just wants to take your money because they want you to bet the Browns, right? That's what I was saying earlier.
Sure.
No, we're saying that we think that Vegas is going for the Browns to win.
Their assets.
Yeah.
They want people to bet the Browns
because
they don't want people to.
Why?
That's why they have them at the lowest odds. They don't want you to bet for them because there's a chance that if Deshaun Watson plays the entire season, there's a good chance they actually win the division. But they don't want to have them down to say like plus 700 odds right now at like third to win the division, and then Deshaun Watson not get suspended. But then everybody's been betting money out that plus 700 because if say like the NFL comes out and say we're not going to suspend him this year, they're going to jump his odds up. But then for that 2-month, 3-month period where we're in limbo trying to figure it all out, people are just raking in bets on that. So now they have it as like, okay, we think that what's going on, the way the NFL has done it before, the case is still ongoing. They're not going to suspend him, right? And even if they do, it's going to be for 2 to 3 games, 2 to 4 games. And look at who the first 4 games are. They can win that with Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah. Anyways,
Jacoby Brissett playing right now is the same thing that Baker Mayfield was.
Put money on the Ravens. Follow me to the Bahamas. I know we can get a good massage. With all that being said, if you guys made it to the end of this video, hit the like button. Hit that subscribe button. Who knows how this is all going to happen. If you listen to all of us ramble, though.
Ravens, Bengals, Browns, Steelers. There you go.
There you go. But if you made it this far, do us a big favor. Hit the like button. Hit that subscribe button once again. We appreciate every single one of you guys that watch these videos and for those who will. But we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.